creative activity. These programs help participants to develop creative, personal and social skills. You can visit them at www.interactionmk.org.uk.
We're just about to get to the concluding part of my interview with Anthony Richards, the Learning Manager at the Science Museum in London. But if there's any museum or attraction or day trip you want to know more about, and you want me to have a feature on the show, just let me know at the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Let me know and I'll do my best to get somebody on to explain or tell us more about whatever there is of interest to you. And the same goes for any destination as well. If there's any destination, resort, or even means of travel you want to know more about, just let me know via the Facebook page. So we're now getting to the end of my chat with Anthony, and we're going to find out how accessible the place is as a museum and also how we can find out more. But as a museum, how accessible is it?
Very, actually. We've won quite a few awards in the last few years, so that's one programme that we run. Obviously, there's things for wheelchair users, so that new exhibits and galleries and functions are all accessible in that way, but that's just the start. We also have a programme using deaf presenters, so rather than have our usual things signed through BSL, we actually have deaf people doing the shows. Mm-hmm. So that's very, very beneficial for deaf children, actually, as opposed to looking at the interpreter. They're looking at somebody who happens to be deaf. And we also use them to do our normal shows now with a presenter, a BSL presenter as well. So that's another way we access stuff. We have galleries open once a month for children with disabilities, and there's less people allowed in with their carers. And also we train our floor staff in lots and lots of different ways. So they might use Makaton, which is a basic form of sign language, and they might have awareness training in all the different types of additional needs that can be present in schools and in families. So yeah, we do a lot for that, because it's our overriding philosophy is to make the museum more accessible for more people, and that's all parts of society.
We've talked about the website. It's great for using to plan it, and when I did the research for this, but what is the website address?
It is www.sciencemuseum1word.org.uk. It'll come up pretty much straight away, but yeah, that's the one that you want. It's a website with lots on it, but take time to flick through and see what's on, and as I say, go to your interest. Let your curiosity guide you, as we always say, but it'll give you the idea of the breadth of what's on show at SW7.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
A real pleasure. Thank you.
Rockers, join me, Colin,
and me, Andy,
for Roadie Rocks.
Fridays at 8 p.m. on Seclo Sounds, bringing you the very best in classic rock, stories from the road and special guests.
You can join in by following us on Twitter at RoadieRocksMK.
Roadie Rocks, Fridays at 8 p.m. only on Seclo Sounds.
Sweet satisfaction.
Keep up to date with travel news by liking my page, facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. And now, travel news. As I've mentioned in many travel news sections in the past, companies put out some surveys, special reports they send out as news so that they get some free publicity. Well, as I'm short on travel news this week, I'm actually going to use one. And it's a report by Hotels.com, and it's about what people would like from their hotel. And 30% of travellers worldwide see that free Wi-Fi is their top hotel amenity. On the UK side, more than a quarter, or 28%, of Britons prefer free Wi-Fi. Only 16% wanted a free breakfast, 15% free parking, and 13% wanted in-room tea or coffee makers. Well, let's just run through this. Yes, I want free Wi-Fi. Breakfast, I'm a vegan, there's very little I can eat and I'm bored of fruit, so I don't care about that. Free parking, very important. And in-room tea or coffee maker, I don't drink either, so that's not important to me either. But anyway, the study had almost 5,000 respondents, and it shows that last year's top wish was breakfast. It's now gone down to second place with 21% of the global vote. But it is the top non-tech amenity that people want from their hotels. Globally, only 3% would go without a free breakfast in order to pay less for the hotel stay. But UK travellers, 15% of them would prefer to have no breakfast if it meant a cheaper night's stay. Free parking remains in third place for another year, 1 in 10 choosing this facility worldwide, which beat swimming pools of only 8%. On-site restaurants and room service offerings only achieved 3 and 2% respectively. Spokesperson for Hotels.com said, "It's interesting to see how important technology is to hotel guests these days. And with society relying on email, messenger tools and websites to stay connected when abroad, it looks as if more traditional amenities such as minibar and room service are falling out of favour with guests." Now there is an urban myth even, man flu, regarding free Wi-Fi in hotels. If the hotel has a good pay-per-view porn business, it's never going to do free Wi-Fi. I'm pretty sure that's changing now, but it's just something to be aware of. If the hotel's making a lot of money from pay-per-view porn, they're not likely to give you free Wi-Fi, are they? But what do you want from a hotel when you stay? I want peace and quiet, cleanliness, and a good night's rest, but other people want other bits and pieces. Let me know. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. And now, it's the Good News Visa story. As you may know if you're a regular listener, I've been talking about increased costs to travel. This time there's actually a reduction. Jordan has axed its £37 visa fee with immediate effect in an effort to bid its tourism industry. The waiver applies for anybody travelling with a tour operator and staying a minimum of 2 consecutive nights. It would also apply to anyone travelling independently who stays for 3 consecutive nights and purchases the Unified Tourist Site ticket that includes admission to the Roman city of Jerza, or Jerash, who knows, the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Petra and others in the capital, Amman. Jordan is also axing its departure tax on all scheduled flights from Amman, and the beach resort of Aqaba, provided guests stay for 3 nights and pay the unified ticket. So it starts off by saying there's a discount, but then you've got to buy all this other stuff as well. Another concession at Aqaba is for budget and charter flights. Passengers will have their visa fees and departure tax waived as well. The Minister for Tourism and Antiquities said, "The measures approved by the government aim to encourage travellers to add Jordan to the next itinerary and will aid in promoting Jordan as an accessible, safe and inviting destination. They also reflect our dedication to consistently and vigilantly develop our products and services to cater to our guests from all around the world." Would the £37 reduction in the visa fee make you want to visit Jordan? Has it put you off? Do visa fees actually put you off going anywhere? They do me, especially when they're a bit complicated. But what about you? Let me know. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. The election is over, and already there's been some fallout and changes about it in the world of travel. The Airports Commission is launching a new public consultation into airport expansion. This 11th-hour move is being seen as stoking fears of further delays to a politically sensitive decision. It came as London Mayor and anti-Heathrow expansion campaigner Boris Johnson was elected as MP for the nearby Uxbridge and South Ruislip constituency in the recent general election. In a bid to avert a potential legal challenge to the 3-year review, Airport Commission Chairman Sir Howard Davies will tell Heathrow and Gatwick that it is seeking the public comment on the impact of expansion on air quality, and this is according to a story in the Financial Times. This move follows the Supreme Court ruling last month that the UK must speed up its efforts to tackle air pollution, having breached the EU limits. This news will raise concerns that the Commission's recommendation on where to build a new runway, which have been ready for the new transport manager, the decision, could be delayed even further. Business leaders and the airline industry reportedly warned against further delays to a decision which has already been postponed several times by successive governments. With Heathrow already running at full capacity, a new runway is seen as vital to UK growth and trade. This fresh consultation is expected to finish by the end of this month and will be technically focused. It's not likely to require a series of meetings with consumers. And the Commission is still hoping to deliver a report by the end of June, although people close to the process suggested that it will be difficult, according to those who spoke to the Financial Times. Sir Howard will be under pressure to ensure that the process is completed, as he is due to start a new job as Chairman of the Royal Bank of Scotland in September. The expansion plan at Heathrow has been criticised given that the roads surrounding UK's largest airport already breach EU air pollution limits. And a previous government decision to allow a third runway at Heathrow was overturned by the courts in 2010 due to environmental concerns. And Gatwick has always claimed that an expansion of Heathrow could again be challenged legally. So we're going to have a few more weeks or perhaps months of these adverts in the press. Gatwick's better than Heathrow, Heathrow's better than Gatwick. Personally, I think they should expand Southend, Stansted and Luton, but who am I? What do you think? You for Heathrow, you for Gatwick, or you for leaving it as it is? Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. When I was carrying out research for my book, The Travel Researcher's Guide, I found an article that said that US-based travel writers would not stay in a hotel on the floors above the maximum reach of the local fire station's biggest ladder. Something that's always stuck with me, especially when I see people at the very top of these huge hotels. I always think, how are you going to get down? But anyway, on a similar front, a story I found in travelmole.com, Gatwick Airport has reassured travellers that after a retired firefighter claimed that cuts to local fire and rescue services are putting Gatwick passengers at risk. Tony Morris, who was the operational planning officer for the West Sussex Fire Service, claims that council cuts have severely reduced the survival chances for passengers and crew in the event of a crash at Gatwick. In his latest blog, he says, "Not only have the cuts put 800,000 residents in greater danger, but millions of passengers who use the airport each year will be doubly unlucky if they were in a crash at Gatwick. We hope that we are not involved in an aircraft crash, but there are several around the world every year. When it happens, we rely on the emergency services arriving quickly to rescue survivors from the wreckage. Sadly, the response from West Sussex Fire and Rescue Service is now slower and smaller than ever, despite aircraft now carrying more people." Although that Morris doesn't blame the airport for the cuts, he did criticise airport chiefs for failing to raise objections to them. The cutbacks mean that less than 50 firefighters would arrive in an emergency at Gatwick, compared to 90 before. Morris used an example of the Kedworth crash in 1989, where a British Midland flight which was attempting an emergency landing at East Midland Airport crashed into the embankment at the M1 motorway in Leicestershire. He said then that over 100 firefighters were needed to rescue the 82 injured survivors, which highlights the risk to passengers at Gatwick, particularly those on the A380s, which carry up to 550 passengers. But a Gatwick's airport spokesperson said the airport was fully prepared. They said, "Passenger safety is our priority, and Gatwick has its own on-airport fire service that is fully equipped and resourced to deal with major incidents." And that actually goes with what I believe happens with an airport crash. If it's in the boundary of the airport, then their own fire service deals with it. It's only if it's over the fence, as it were, that the local fire service can come in and deal with it. But if you're an expert on the situation, do let me know. Facebook.com/John Guinn Travel Show. Well, that's it for the travel news this week. Hopefully the noise, my nose and the sound of my voice hasn't irritated you too much this week. Now the recording is over, I'm going to lie in front of the telly and watch House for the rest of the afternoon. Good old Netflix. I hope you did enjoy the information about the Science Museum when you go and pay a visit. I went twice, as I mentioned, because of the interview situation, and I had a good time down there. It's well worth visiting. But remember, best to go when it's a heat wave. Don't go when it's raining. And I do hope you can join me next time on The Travel Show with John Guinn on seclosounds.org, where each week I'm checking it out before you check it out.
MK Pulse proudly sponsors Seclo Sounds. MK Pulse is Milton Keynes' local magazine, bringing helpful information on food, health, fashion, money, travel, culture and much more to 84,000 people every month. Plus news, views and what's on from around the city. If it's happening in Milton Keynes, it's in MK Pulse, and it's available online at www.mkpulse.co.uk. MK Pulse and Seclo Sounds, the heart and soul of the city.